Welcome to this lecture on economic method of the environmental management. After this lecture, you will be able to describe the objectives of economic methods of environmental management, list form of economic impact, and describe the principles of their functioning. The economic mechanisms serves to control and manage the situation in the field of environmental protection. It represents a set of laws regulating terms and procedures for accumulation of funds coming as a payment for environmental pollution, financing environmental measures, and economic incentives of companies. The polluter must pay principle is important because it is aimed at increasing the interest of natural users in efficient and rational use of natural resources and protection and reproduction of the natural environment. The economic mechanisms has several objectives. The first is the fiscal objective, in other words, to generate income from environmental taxes. The second objective is compensatory. The money received is used to finance environmental activities in order to restore natural resources and compensate for environmental damage. And the third objective is incentive. Economic methods create an incentive for both producers and consumers to change their production or consumption behavior in order to reduce environmental pollution and improve resource efficiency. It also stimulates environmental innovation and modernization of production processes. The main purpose of environmental payments is not to increase the state budget, but to motivate producers towards positive behavior in terms of environmental protection. In general, economic mechanisms for environmental protection can be combined into the following groups: environmental pollution fees and emission taxes, fees for the use of natural resources, financing of environmental protection measures, creation of environmental funds, tax benefits and accelerated depreciation of treatment equipment, energy taxes. Currently, environmental taxes play a significant role in the tax systems of most European countries. In these countries, tax policy is aimed at resource saving, increasing environmental efficiency, and at the same time solving a wide range of social problems. In the United States tax system, taxes aimed at protecting the natural environment also play a significant role. They form a special group of local taxes. In New York, for example, there is a tax to clean up oil spills on water bodies. Let's look at some of the methods of economic management of the environment. Emission taxes are charged for the following types of pollution: emission of pollutants into the atmosphere from stationary and mobile pollution sources, discharge of pollutants into surface and underground water bodies, waste disposal. Emission taxes are the most important tool for compensation of damage caused to the environment, public health, and material values as a result of emissions of hazardous substances and waste disposal. They are the main source of environmental funds, which are used to finance environmental protection measures and improve environmental safety. Emission taxes encourage compliance with environmental regulations and standards, as well as the implementation of environmental investments. How does it work? Companies make payments according to the basic tariffs in case of compliance with the standards of permissible emissions and waste, and the amount of payments is included in the cost price. If environmental standards are violated, an additional increase coefficient is applied to the basic tariff, and this part of payments is compensated by the profit of the company. The system of taxes for the use of natural resources may vary from country to country, but generally includes the following types of taxes. Property tax usually represents the tax on mineral deposits, production tax per unit of extracted mineral, and income tax paid on the profits of the company producing the natural resources. Energy taxes are taxes for the use with certain types of fuel aimed to reduce the emissions of carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur oxides into the atmosphere. Reduced use of coal fuel leads to reduced emissions of the pollutants such as carbon dioxide, especially in cities. In recent years, economic incentives have become increasingly important, and there is understanding that it is simply impossible to establish nature protection only with administrative sanctions in modern conditions and on the current level. The main types of economic incentives are preferential taxation and crediting of enterprises, setting higher depreciation rates of treatment equipment, incentive prices on environmentally friendly products. As an example of preferential taxation, the Russian law provides that the amount of profit tax is reduced by 30% of capital investments in environmental measures. The idea of increased depreciation rates of treatment equipment is to pay back environmental facilities faster and then be able to replace them with new, more advanced ones, thus supporting the implementation of scientific and technological progress. Incentive methods also include subsidies, various forms of financial support that provide an incentive for a polluter to change environmental behavior. So, in this lecture, you have learned about objectives of economic methods of environmental management, forms of economic impact, and principles of their functioning.